Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. You like it? 3, 1, 2, 3. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
This is Offseason Blueprint episode 3.0 here on Purple Daily, boys. Yes.
Let's do it.
We're going to put these Mr. Miyagi hands on the Vikings roster.
Yep.
And we're going to fix it for the long haul.
We're getting closer, too. We're getting closer. We know a little bit more.
We do.
Senior Bowl's done.
Senior Bowl's done. NFL Combine starts in like 3 weeks from this week. And then, so that's when like the real legal or illegal tampering happens. Right. And then in 6 weeks, not even 6 weeks, like 5 weeks from now, NFL free agency opens. So we're going to go through. And by the way, we're going to start with Kirk Cousins may have left a couple clues as his media tour continued. So we're going to play a clip for you here shortly. And then we're going to do an offseason blueprint where we essentially run the Vikings offseason as if we were the front office. But Judd, tell the audience how they can lose some weight here. Maybe the audience is looking to get in shape during the offseason. No? Where should they turn to?
Well, it's one-stop shopping. It's very simple. It's my friends at Livia Weight Control Centers who a couple of years ago helped me drop 40 pounds. And you know what? Since then, things have gotten even better because they are now offering breakthrough weight loss medications in their center locations. The new medical weight loss program offers GLP-1 medications that will support you in overcoming those barriers, those biological barriers that can make losing weight so difficult. Livia is going to help you every step of the way. They're going to help you keep that weight off. And now they're going to help you through a new means, 855-GO-LIVIA, livia.com, LIVEA.com.
Hey, we're back. The button bar's back.
Nice.
Let's go.
I saw your excitement. I'm like, Phil, are you going to join? I mean, are you going to Livia.com right now? You're like, I'm going to join myself. But yes, I'm glad the button bar's back.
The button bar's back. Hey, here we go.
The button bar's back.
Okay, let's play a clip here. So the Kirk Cousins media tour has been just on fire the last few weeks. This is, let's just call it what it is, a very strategic tour through national outlets, Associated Press, CBS. He's done some hits on some other big platform shows to show, hey, we got a month until free agency. I'm alive. I'm going through my rehab. I'm doing my Kirk thing. This is a clip from his interview with Sky Sports over the weekend, international sports platform here. Let's just take a listen.
Many people who ask, including friends and family, are surprised to learn that the conversations really don't begin until March. So I would love to know where I'm going. I would love to get those conversations going now. I'm just sitting at home watching the playoffs. Don't have much going on except for rehab, but I really have to wait until the first couple of weeks of March to begin those conversations. So that's what we're doing. We're just waiting it out, and time will tell as those final head coaching vacancies fill and teams start to decide how they want to draft, how they want to handle free agency. We'll start to figure out, and including my own team with the Vikings, we'll learn where I'm going to end up. But I got a few more weeks to wait.
Look at him. He's got for the audio audience, he's got like I guess it's a cardigan, like a button-up navy blue cardigan with the collared shirt, the tie.
Might even be J. Crew. This might even be outside of like his J.C. Penney's, Kohl's Cash.
That's
type
what
of situation.
He got the outfit. You don't think he got the outfit at Kohl's?
That doesn't look like Kohl's, right?
That looks a little J. Crew to me. Very J. Crew.
It does look a little more J. Crew, you know?
Old school
maybe
preppy?
I could see Express for Men, maybe outfitting his media tour.
Okay.
But I guess my question to you is, did that sound like a guy that was ready to sign back with the Vikings and agree to whatever they've been offering him?
Well, no, absolutely not. It's what we've been talking about. Look, I mean, I'll continue to say this. Why is Kirk Cousins, if he has a chance right now to establish a market, why is he going to just re-sign here and be like, whatever? Like, I do think that he was willing to take some type of, in his mind, I should say, okay? So in his mind, I think a year ago in March, he was willing to take some type of like discount or favorable contract, in his opinion, to the Vikings. And the Vikings said, sorry, hard pass. So yes, he tore his Achilles, but to what you just said, Phil, he is going through a media tour de force. I mean, the dude has went out and got a setup now in an office. Like he's not in the couch now, which he used to.
That's a home office, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but I mean, it's very nicely done. He is obviously prepared. And Super Bowl week, I'm guessing he's going to Vegas, and I'm guessing he's going to do the exact same thing. So no, this sounds like a guy who, to his credit, is going to maximize his ability to get one more payday possible. So I see nothing there that says, oh yeah, he's back. I see everything that says he's back if he gets what he wants here, and I don't know that that's going to be the case.
He is a Hall of Fame negotiator.
Yeah.
From the hey, look at my big smile on TV here. Everything's going great. I'm just watching the playoffs like everybody else is, and oh shucks, people just don't really realize, friends and family, that the process doesn't really heat up until March. Well, I think it was it Adam Patrick on Vikings Twitter found a screenshot of the year that Drew Brees re-signed. It was the same year that Cousins signed with the Vikings.
Right.
Drew Brees re-signed with the Saints middle of February, like Super Bowl week, basically. Didn't even let himself get to the open market because Drew Brees cared less about milking his value for every cent and penny that it's worth and cared more about going back to the Saints and finishing something that they were building. So to me, like, I watch that clip and I think, there's still a chance he could go back to the Vikings, but he wants to damn sure figure out what the other 2 or 3 teams, the Falcons, the Steelers, the Raiders, other teams that need quarterbacks, are going to offer so that the Vikings know what the price tag is, right? And by the way, I don't think he's taking Tuesdays off during negotiating season. I can tell you that.
Wow. Well, here's the thing. If watching that clip, he is now also slipped in fully to politician mode. Like, that's a politician right there. That's not I hope I get a contract, or I hope I'm getting the most. Like, look at that. He's in a tie. He's in a cardigan. He has established a really nice setup for how he's going to talk to Sky Sports. And, like, can you imagine Danielle Hunter ain't going to get himself a setup for Sky Sports. He might not even talk to Sky Sports. Everything about this, and I love it doesn't start till March. Yeah, okay. First of all, you don't have to wait till March.
External teams can't start till March.
But you know what that says? That says to me, the political hot potato here, this says to me, I'm going to say this on purpose because the Vikings know that if this goes to the start of the league year, I think it's March 13th, they're out.
Yeah.
So if they want to come to me with an offer that I deem to be appropriate, they can. But right now, talks don't start till March. Yeah, talks don't start till March.
Dude,
you remember he got a full tour of the Twin Cities when he was here for the Super Bowl in 2018. And again, I'm not faulting him, but let's see through the charade here, ladies and gentlemen.
Listen, he is one of the most calculated players in the entire NFL. I don't think there's any debating that. Now, either you're fine with that, and that's great, and hey, he deserves to go get his money, despite the fact that it might not be in the Vikings' best interest to pay him coming off an Achilles like 40 or 45 million.
Sure.
But we've seen the full evolution of player Kirk getting hurt, kind of going off the grid. And now this is like when Clark Kent goes into the phone booth and turns into Superman. For Kirk, he goes into the phone booth and negotiator Kirk, corporate quarterback Kirk, free agent Kirk comes out with the cardigan and the tie and the office setup. Hey, everybody, big smile. It's almost like there's a cue card behind the camera. Don't forget to smile big and tell them that the negotiations don't start till March.
It's funny. It feels like it for the Succession fans out there. He is much more like Kendall on the football field, but he is Logan Roy in the boardroom.
Yep.
Yeah, he is. He's got some flaws. He's mostly pretty sound. You know what you're getting, but when it's boardroom time, no. Kendall is out, and Logan's got that cardigan on, and he's gonna get that deal bleep off. It's gonna happen.
So that as kind of a springboard for the offseason blueprint episode here, 3.0. We've done 2 different versions of this, obviously, and we kind of divvy this up into 3 different chunks. We've got chunk number 1, which is create cap space. Chunk number 2 is free agency, the internal and the external guys, and then chunk number 3. Or phase number 3, I guess, if you will, is the mock draft simulator, which we will go through. So let's start with the cap space situation. And I'll just say, even before we get into this, I think with Kirk doing the Sky Sports thing and saying, hey, March is kind of the time where this stuff heats up. I mean, he's telling you, I'm going to hit the market.
Yep.
I don't think the Vikings are winning a bidding war. So for this particular blueprint, I think we can start with, okay, Kirk's gone. Kirk has signed with the Falcons. Are you guys okay with that?
Yes, and I will say this: we're going to get pushback on one thing, and I'll explain it quickly here. So the Vikings could go to Kirk, and Kirk could technically say the dead cap hits. I'll push that date back, and so then you can start. Then they could involve themselves in the bidding war. But here's my question: Kirk's not doing that for free. So, like, again, I don't see how this works. Like, if Kirk wanted to stay here really badly, he's obviously going to sign before March 13th. So, but we're going to get, if we don't bring that subject up, it's going to be pushback of, you guys ignored this on purpose. So we understand that. I just don't see that he's necessarily going to be agreeable to doing the Vikings a favor when it doesn't pay off for him at all.
Yep.
So
That's fair. And again, we'll do another one. I'm sure we'll do at least like 5 of these, and we can do another one where the Vikings do bring him back. Maybe they bring him back. The one scenario we haven't done is they bring him back for like a big time market rate of 45 million or 40 million or something. And then we can figure out how to work around that contract.
Sure.
But for this exercise, we're going to say Vikings have decided to move on from Kirk. And by the way, it feels like that's what's happening right now. It feels like the Vikings, going back to last spring, have said, here's what we are offering. It's 1 year of guarantees, and then we need to have flexibility. And Kwesi has even talked about wanting to maintain flexibility. Kirk feels like he's pushing for at least 2 years of guarantees and certainty.
Yep.
And unless one of the two parties budges, they're going to part ways.
Yes. Yeah. And so the variable here, though, back to your point about him actually getting a maximum deal is this. And it's been implied in a couple of things I've read of late, which is if the Wilfs do step in and say, Kirk is our guy. So, like, we do have to be aware of that possibility.
Yep.
But I think from a football operation standpoint, I think you're right.
Yep. So, okay, right now, according to Over the Cap, the Vikings have $20 million in effective cap space. That puts them kind of middle of the pack in the NFL. So, like, Vikings have 20 million in effective cap space. Commanders have 63 million. Titans have 62. Patriots, Colts, Texans, Bengals all have over 50 million in effective cap space. Lions, Bears, Buccaneers, Raiders, Cardinals all have at least 30 million. And then the Panthers, Rams, and Falcons all have more than the Vikings right now. Now, there's some teams right now, like the Saints, who are always in cap hell. They have $90 million to figure out how to take off the books to hit the cap number. The Dolphins are 59 million over. So there's a wide range. A lot of things can happen. There's restructures. There's players that could be released, whatever. So the Vikings are kind of middle of the pack in cap space. It'd be nice to create some more cap space. Here's the thing. By saying goodbye to Kirk, you're not creating more than $20 million in cap space for this year because you have to eat the dead cap penalty from his previous contract of 28.5. Mm-hmm. So you'd be just kind of swallowing that finally, and then your books would be clear from Kirk Cousins cap hell starting in 2025. Last time we did this exercise, so how do we go from 20 million to like 40 million or something more in cap space?
Yep.
So last time we cut Harrison Smith, and that saved $11.5 million. We cut Dean Lowry and Patrick Jones, just a couple of Jags, I guess.
Wouldn't change a thing.
A couple of guys.
3.0,
Okay.
I'm not changing a thing.
And that saves $3.5 million in cap space. And then we extended Justin Jefferson for 5 years and a crazy boatload of money, which actually relieves you in the short term. It saves you $8 million in cap space for this year, but then it obviously puts like 30 to 35 million per year on the books going forward. Any qualms with those 3 moves? Cutting Harrison Smith, cutting Dean Lowry, Patrick Jones, and then extending Justin Jefferson.
No. Perfect.
All good.
Good?
I'm still with the plan.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then we've decided also to keep Harrison Phillips, Byron Murphy Jr., Garrett Bradbury, Nick Mullins, and C.J. Ham at their current contract numbers. Long story short, we actually went through this whole exercise on the first version, the 1.0. We kind of fought about some of these guys, but the cap savings isn't enough to justify opening up like a starting center position, for instance, is what we sort of landed on.
Right.
So we're at least, the problem is like you can say goodbye to Bradbury and save like $2 million, but now you need a starting center.
Yeah.
And you've only saved $2 million. So if we do that, Jefferson extension, Harrison Smith, thank you for the service time, goodbye. Dean Lowry, Patrick Jones, gone. That gets us an additional $23 million in projected cap space for this year, which puts us at $43 million in cap space. Okay.
It's a good number to be at.
Yeah, nice little dough.
Not terrible. Okay.
Nope.
So, by the way, that Jefferson contract that we landed on, we're using Nick Bosa as the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. So Jefferson's kind of pushing for something like that. So something in the ballpark of 5 years, $175 million, $35 million a year, $50 million signing bonus, $125 million guaranteed, starting in 2025. So that contract would be, so you'd have him for 6 years basically under contract. All right. So, okay. So now we go into free agency. We'll start with the internals and we'll go external. We have $43 million in space and we can manipulate that and we'll explain that as we go. Kirk Cousins is the number one internal free agent. We have decided so long. Have fun in Atlanta, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Have fun on Sky Sports with your cardigan.
Oh, it's been a great run.
Peace out. Let's just say if he was that close to re-signing with the Vikings, he's not going on all these national, international media platforms and telling the world how much he's looking forward to what the process brings in March, right? So go ahead and explore the process. For this exercise, he's gone. Danielle Hunter. What do you guys want to do here? The projected extension for him or the projected contract in free agency is 3 years, $65 million according to PFF. So $22 million a year. What do you want to do?
What are we doing in the first round of the draft? Do we know, like, because that to me is the key. Are we?
Well, we've moved off Kirk. So
right, yeah. But are we going to try and get Penix late first round, second round, and get a bridge guy? Or are we going to try and go trade up and go big game hunting? I think that to me is imperative to know the answer on Hunter. But that being said, my first inclination is I would like to keep him.
And in the order of operations, unfortunately, we have to make that decision to re-sign Hunter before we really know what's going to happen in the draft. So I would say re-sign Hunter, and then if you want to take the quarterback, like Judd's talking about, then we can talk about that. But they can't wait on that decision. They might have the internal decision of, hey, here's where we're going to go. We're going to re-sign Hunter, and then we're going to draft a quarterback. But you have to re-sign Hunter first before you really make that decision.
Yeah, I mean, Declan's right. We don't get the luxury. We can sit here and say, to Judd's point, and by the way, this is the exact conversation that they're probably having internally too, right? We don't know what we're going to do in the draft yet. We can sit here and say, okay, boys, we said goodbye to Kirk. Right. By any means necessary, we are trading up into the top 3.
Exactly.
But that's not in your control necessarily.
Well,
and how much would you have to overpay to make that happen too?
But I mean, that trade could be made in early March, right?
It could be.
If I'm going to go, I'm just saying.
I mean, do you want to do that right now?
No,
because we could open up. If
I'm KOC,
we've got the mock simulator right here.
I've got some tough questions to ask. I got some tough questions, but these are all conversations. But yes, let's just say for now that's fine. I'm with Dex on that. I would like to bring Hunter back.
Okay. Well, and I think I do too, but just to play devil's advocate, if you were to, let me pull up the Vikings cap calculator here on overthecap.com. Okay. If you were to say goodbye to Kirk this year, and then if you were to also say goodbye to Danielle Hunter, so you'd have to eat $42.5 million. We're going to just, we're going to say goodbye, and we're going to say goodbye to these guys right here. If you didn't bring those guys back, you definitely eat the $42 million. And by the way, the projected cap is $240 million, maybe between $240 and $250. So it's a huge pill to swallow. But then in 2025, this doesn't count the Jefferson extension, but you'd be like top 5 in cap space in a year from now. And you could use that money for this year and next year to sign younger free agents, Christian Wilkins, Madubuike. Like there's some edge rushers out there that aren't quite Danielle Hunter caliber, but just saying, like you could say goodbye to both those guys and just decide, you know what, we're going to get younger. We're going to have some extra money to play with in free agency for some 26-year-old instead of a 29-year-old?
I don't see the Vikings doing that with both guys.
Well, what
But
do you
yes,
want to do?
You
Who cares what they would do?
You definitely could. I think you keep Daniil because Flores has done a great job, and if I peel him away, I'm asking a lot more. I want to free up cap space, but I also don't want the defense to actually potentially, if things don't go well, have really limited pass rushing options.
Yep.
So if it's up to me, Kirk goes, Daniil stays.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you agree, Declan?
Yep, I'm good with that.
And yeah, I mean, I'm definitely in the keep Daniil Hunter around side of things too.
3-year contract though, right?
So it'd be
I'm
a
just
three
doing
years with basically 2 years guaranteed. So
Okay.
the contract, and we're using the PFF projections here. 3 years, $65 million, $40 million guaranteed. So if we structure it this way, $15 million signing bonus, so he gets paid a lot right away, with a $5 million base in 2024. So he's going to get here's $20 million for you right away. He might want a little bit more. You might have to go a little higher on that, but on the base. If you did it that way, and then it's $20 million base and then a $25 million base next 2 years, his cap number for 2024 would go up $3 million from where it's at right now. So by doing the contract this way, and there's a couple different ways you could probably do it, but I'm kind of just going off of like some recent comparable examples around the league. We're going to actually decrease our cap space with this contract extension. So now we have $40 million in 2024 cap space. But we're sitting in a pretty good space beyond 2024 because we got rid of the Kirk Cousins albatross contract. So, okay. The other internal guys here, and we've gone through this exercise a couple times, so we can kind of speed through this, but I keep fighting for Brandon Powell because the Vikings, like, you're going to need like a trinket player. So Brandon Powell,
We're fine with that.
1.5. We also need to account for a kicker worth $2 million. Greg Joseph, I think, is a free agent, or another kicker for $2 million.
Yep.
And then a couple like backup veteran offensive linemen, your Austin Schlottman type guys. So that pool together is another like $5 million, which brings us to $35 million in cap space.
Okay.
I know Declan in the past has fought for Dalton Reisner, so let's do this real quick because there's a bunch of external free agents we're going to talk about here. The best external guards, the Vikings don't have a starting left guard right now because Dalton Reisner is a free agent. Ezra Cleveland was traded. The external guards we talked about were Kevin Dotson from the Rams and Robert Hunt from the Dolphins, but those guys are going to cost you like $17.5 million a year, but they are among the top 5 or 10 guards in the NFL.
Right.
Dalton Reisner was graded well below average, especially as a run blocker. He was pretty good in pass protection, but he was not like anywhere near the caliber of a Kevin Dotson or a Hunt. But according to PFF, he would cost you only $8 million versus $17.5 million. And so you'd have money to spend in other areas if you wanted to. Declan, would you like to fight for Dalton Reisner at 8 versus like a top or like a draft pick or somebody else that would be more expensive?
Yeah, I would. I would just make this easier, bring him back. I think it'd be worth having him here regardless. So yes, I would fight to keep Dalton Reisner here in this scenario.
Judd? It's not as much about is he the best option, period. It's about
where am I going to spend?
Yeah, would you want to spend elsewhere? You could draft another guard like in the middle rounds too.
Yeah, great. Let's say for the sake of this that we do bring him back.
Okay.
I don't love it, but there's potentially
this sounds like it pains you to bring him back, actually.
Well, I would really like to upgrade at guard, and I've been talking about it for like a month, but the issue is in this scenario, I'm curious with as much potential cap space as we can carry, what we can do with like a splash move or two. Yeah. Especially with Kirk gone.
Okay. So we're gonna so Dalton Reisner's coming back. And maybe another year in the system, okay? Yeah. He seemed to be, like, his teammates seemed to like him. You know, he was always the first guy at the end of a big play to run down there and, like, help his teammate up.
He karate chopped a guy one time or something. He got excited.
Kicked the guy.
He kicked
the guy, yeah.
So, All right, so Dalton Reisner's back.
Okay. So we now have, and by the way, we can play some math games on this. It could be a 2-year contract. It's projected at $8 million, but we could like little signing bonus, prorate the signing bonus. So we could get away with maybe it only costing the Vikings $5 million in cap space for this year. So we'll do it that way. So we still have $30 million in cap space. KJ Osborne, internal. Probably say goodbye.
Yeah, he's
Bye-bye.
gone.
Goodbye.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
He's gone.
You go.
The other guys are just like Austin Schlottman, Quessenberry. On defense, DJ Wanham, Jordan Hicks, Marcus Davenport, Jonathan Bullard are all guys who started games for you last year that are free agents. You want to fight for any of these guys to come back?
And Davenport's going to cost you to let him go.
Screw that guy. No.
But he's not back. There's no way that guy is brought back. Want him on a very reasonable contract because he's recovering from the injury. I would bring back. I think he's a serviceable player, but the injury does scare me. But I'm not paying him much.
Could we do what do you think is reasonable? I'm with you. Like bring him back as a depth guy off an injury.
I mean, you need guys like DJ Wanham.
$3 million, $3 million cap hit.
Say 2. He's hurt.
Okay.
Let's lowball his ass and see what happens.
We might be wrong on this number. It might be more like 5 or something. But
well, then he's gone. I ain't bringing him back at 5.
Let's call it 3. Let's just call it 3. $3 million cap hit. Okay. So now we're down to we got some depth there. Maybe at some point we're down to $27 million in cap space. And then like Troy Dye, Kairos Tonga, I just whatever.
Troy Dye is good on special teams. Tonga, I think, is just a jag.
And you can bring those guys back. And it would probably not even register in your top 51.
We'll bring them back
salaries.
in April, okay? Before we all go to Bermuda or something, we'll say, you know what, Troy Dye's agent, take it or leave it because I'm about to get on a plane and go sun myself.
Yeah.
In May or something.
So now we get to the external free agency portion of this. And I think we should start the conversation with what do we need the most here? What are the biggest needs? And then we can kind of go into the actual names and the price tags here.
Defensive tackle, I still think.
Okay.
If I bring Hunter back, I would like to get a complimentary, because I don't know about Juan himself, a complimentary rush end, but it doesn't have to be like a big name.
Could be draft
splash. Cornerback?
Yeah, I mean, they don't have a number 1 cornerback.
I mean, those are 3 spots immediately that come to mind. I don't think on offense.
I mean, there's a
running back,
huge one.
Yeah. But I'm not going out and signing a quarterback to a huge contract here, are you?
Well, we need a quarterback.
Yeah, a bridge guy. A bridge guy.
But it's going to cost you something.
I
I don't think you're going in. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong here, because this would be an option. Would you go in? You say goodbye to Kirk. He's in Atlanta. Would you go into the draft with Nick Mullins and Jaron Hall as your only quarterbacks under contract?
I'd prefer not to. I would sign a bridge guy, but I'm not. And yes, it would cost you something, but I'm not taking any like huge risk here of let's go sign this QB.
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. I'm out of all of that crap.
Okay.
So like
the only way that would work is if the Vikings made the trade to move up in the draft like weeks before the draft.
To go into the draft like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's the only path that would probably make sense.
Which we could, I mean, we at any point here, we could go into the mock draft simulator and trade up into the top 3.
Yeah.
Or we could try to.
Yeah.
Do you want to try to?
Yeah, see what it's going to cost us.
Okay, let's pop this up here, Dex.
Okay.
Let's just
now, I will say that we may have to manipulate this because oftentimes, for whatever reason, the PFF cost to move up is not as high as it would be if they're going off of like the draft value chart, not considering if there's 4 teams trying to do it. You're not going off the draft value chart anymore. You're going off of what's the best offer. So we're going to enter the draft. We won't do the whole thing, obviously. But let's call who do you want to call? Patriots?
Patriots probably make the most sense.
We'll call the Patriots?
Because I don't think Chicago's going to trade with you, and Washington probably is going to try and trade up themselves. with the
So we'll
Bears.
swap the 11 and the 3. Again, if we kick in the 42 and like a future first, it says that they will accept it.
Okay.
But I'm wondering if that's not enough in reality. If
No,
if
I
it
agree.
would actually cost you more than that.
Yes, it would. And I think it would cost
Like
you.
you probably have to kick
I
in
was
your
just gonna say
second
that.
round pick next year too.
Yep.
Which again, PFF would allow us to do it this way, but
Yeah.
would let's root this in reality as much as we can. Would
Yeah.
you give up? Would you give up? You'd swap the first rounds this year, your second this year, your second next year, and your first round pick next year to move from 11 to 3.
First, second.
Yes. If I'm getting my quarterback in the future, yes.
Yeah, if I absolutely love Jayden Daniels,
Jayden Daniels, yeah.
now that remains to be seen. But at least I think that's a plausible trade. Like if we pull the trigger, I think that's the type of trade.
Would you want to do this now in early March so that we can have a better idea of what our free agency plan is, or do you want to
Yeah.
go through free agency and then?
No,
You wanna do it?
no. I would do it now. If we're going to do it, I do it now.
Okay, boys. Here we go. They're gonna accept it. I'm gonna offer it. They're gonna accept it. Trade accepted. There we go.
Up to 3.
Oh God, the fans are going nuts.
Wow, dude.
Spring training's been forgotten.
This is wild. So we now let's call it the beginning of March here. We're planning out our free agency, and we now know we have the number 3 overall pick. We also know that we don't have another pick until like the 4th round. So we have a first,
Right.
a 4th, and then next year we have a 3rd, and then the rest of our picks. So we don't have a ton. This is where like signing some younger free agents is going to be important. This is where now I don't know that I would sign a 30-year-old free agent because I want to make sure if I'm signing pieces, I want them to be part of a 3-year plan.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
we can pop this off here, Dex, and go back to free agent land. So okay. So we do you still want to sign a bridge quarterback? Do you want to sign? I think here's what this probably does. Instead of signing like Gardner Minshew for $9 million, and I'm going off the PFF projected contracts here. Maybe you're in the Ryan Tannehill for $5.5 million range, or the Jacoby Brissett for $6.5 million range.
Jacoby Brissett sounds like the exact yes.
Okay.
That
Would
sounds
you
like the exact
would you
type of-
cut Nick Mullins to save
Oh yeah.
$2
Yeah,
million?
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. No problem.
The
there.
irresponsibility.
All right, we
is
just
just,
saved.
I can't take it. I'm done.
Okay, so we're back to $29 million in cap space, and we just cut Nick Mullins.
Bye, Nick.
Sorry, guy.
Thanks for your service and overconfidence.
So give me a bridge quarterback that you guys want. Tannehill at 5.5, 2-year deal. Pretty much all guaranteed, 2-year guaranteed. He's 36. Minshew at $9 million a year,
Yeah, I agree.
or
with you.
Jacoby Brissett for $6.5
Do
million.
Brissett now.
Jacoby?
Yeah,
Go with Jacoby Brissett, yeah.
that's the type of guy I'd get.
Okay. So
Yep.
Jacoby Brissett, $6.5 million. Cap hit would probably be like $4 million when you do the finagling. So we'll call it. We have $25 million in cap space left. Stella is a huge
She
fan
is.
of this signing too, isn't she?
She is mad at the neighbors. I don't know why, but she is mad at the neighbors. There.
He muted himself to yell at Stella.
Okay.
Yeah, I just brought the hammer down.
The audio audience is so confused right now. Okay, where do you want to go from here? We got our bridge quarterback. We said defensive tackle, edge, cornerback. Here's some names that have been thrown out on the last 2 top free agent target episodes. So let's start with interior defensive line. Grover Stewart. Now he's 30 years old though, but he's your big like 325-pound space hogger in the middle that the Vikings have lacked, right?
Yep.
Then you've got the big, like, these are some of the top dudes on the market. Christian Wilkins, interior defensive tackle who can rush the passer, and Justin Madubuike. These would be like $20 to $25 million a year pieces. And then you also have you've got a cornerback option that Judd threw out there. Kendall Fuller, he's super durable. He's played almost every snap for the Commanders the last 4 years. Going to be 29 years old. Antoine Winfield Jr. as a defensive back, a safety at 25 and a half years old. Interesting. So where do you guys want to start here?
I'd like to start with the possibility of one of those 2 big defensive tackles. and they're both extremely expensive. But that would be. But my God, if I could get a guy like that's a game changer for Flores. That's a guy who's going to potentially be here for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
So it's not, it's not an old, because that's the problem. Grover is old for a football player. Grover Sturt is old. So
Matabuike is 26.
Yeah, exactly. So
Christian Wilkins is 20.
One of those two, 28. But
28.
one of those two is where I would love to start.
Okay.
Beef up front and good beef.
Let's start with the beef up front. Let's do that.
Let's go for Matabuike, man. 64 pressures and 14 sacks from the interior.
And 26. Yeah. Love it.
You could play him alongside Harrison Phillips. Now the projected contract is 4 years, $92 million, $23 million a year.
Yep.
So he'd be one of the most expensive defensive players in the league. 60 million guaranteed. So almost like 3 years guaranteed, but he'd be in his prime. And this is the type of move the Vikings have made before. They go out and they find their interior guys. So are we good on that? We're gonna from one purple to another.
I'm fine with it. Yes, I love this.
Okay. So we're probably talking about, let's call it like a $15 million cap hit in year one.
Okay.
Because you'd give him a big signing bonus and go from there. So that leaves us with about $10 million. Now we do need some space for the number 3 overall pick here. So we don't we have room for maybe like one smaller signing in free agency. That's kind of the problem with this. We don't get to build out a ton of depth. I'm trying to see if anyone else, is there like a running back on here? Would you at this point, probably not in free agency, you probably just draft a running back, right? Because you get Tony Pollard, but it's going to be like $8 million a year.
Yeah, I think
Josh Jacobs is 13,
Yeah, I think you'd have to draft one.
Okay. And the cornerback options, you're talking about guys that are like less expensive than Byron Murphy Jr., so you're kind of...
They're older.
But on defense, we now have Daniil Hunter, Justin Matabuike. It's a nice little spot to start. You've got one of the best edge rushers and one of the best interior pass rushers. Probably have to go find somebody. Now, Andrew Van Ginkel is only projected to be 2 years, $6.5 million a year.
Compliment to Hunter.
We could probably go get him. And now the defensive front is incredible, and we could kind of manipulate the money there to still save room for our draft picks.
Do we need to get another vet corner? Because you're not going to draft one now because it's good. I think you just give up your first or second round pick. That would be my only question is, do you need to go get a vet? Because I just don't trust Booth. And if we think Evans is going to bounce back, but he also doesn't stay healthy consistently. So I just have real trepidation about my depth at cornerback.
Let me just see. We don't have to get into the weeds on like all these guys, but when you start to get toward the back end of the PFF top 155, just like the available corners, $7 million for Adoree Jackson. Keyshawn Nixon is $4 million. Sean Murphy Bunting, $4 million. So you're probably talking like $4 to $6 million for a veteran corner, or like $5-ish, $6-ish million for like a Van Ginkel, an edge. I think you call it. Would you rather have an edge or would you rather have a veteran cornerback here?
I think I need a veteran cornerback.
Yeah, okay.
Because I just don't trust. I don't trust Booth. Evans, I think he might be fine, but he might be dicey. I trust Blackman. I trust Murphy, but I just think that you have to build up some depth.
Okay.
Agreed.
So we'll do that then. And then that leaves us with enough money to basically sign the number 3 overall pick, whoever that may be. So here's what we've done through free agency. We've traded up to the number 3 overall pick. We've said goodbye to Kirk Cousins. We've said hello again to Daniil Hunter. We've said hello to Jacoby Brissett as a bridge quarterback, just like a 1 year, $6.5 million contract. We could even go a couple years for Jacoby and just smooth out the cap hit.
Sure.
We've brought in a massive home run free agent signing. Justin Matabuike is one of the top 10 available free agents on the market, one of the best defensive players in the league. And we signed a veteran cornerback. We also brought back Dalton Reisner, Brandon Powell. We said goodbye to KJ Osborne. We are bringing back DJ Wanham and hoping that he can come back from the injury. And that leaves us with the draft, boys. What would you say are the biggest holes on the roster now going into the draft? I would say another young edge rusher.
Running back.
Just because we have other rounds to draft here. Running back for sure.
Back.
Okay. I'm going to make a list here.
Guard.
Yeah, center guard. Young interior.
Yep, I like it.
Okay, we'll go IOL. And then we'll say edge. You could maybe another wide receiver if there's a burner that can.
Sure.
It's like a because we're losing KJ Osborne.
Fifth rounder, perhaps. Sixth rounder, just a sneaky wide receiver, Stephon Diggs type who turns into a Pro Bowl player.
Yeah, could see it. So before we pop up this mock draft simulation, I think Stella's really barking because she wants her Nutrisource. I think that's what's happening.
I wonder if that's true.
Maya doesn't usually bark when she's hungry, but she comes up and will she'll slap you across the face with her paw because she loves Nutrisource chicken and rice, baby.
Well, what's sad is ordinarily the little girl that you're about to see, Stella, is, she's judgmental, but a good girl. But right now she is melting down. In fact, I'm going to go give her a Nutrisource treat to shut her up. That's right. To buy her love, because I'm a bad parent. So who cares? But at least she'll be happy. I'll be right back.
All right, we'll do. Yeah, Vinster will do similar things too. And he was really tired yesterday after playing with his brother. So luckily, just to get him up, hey, one more potty break here. Just put a little Nutrisource treat in front of that nose, and they will just wake up immediately, and they'll just they'll listen to you. Do whatever you want.
We found a new treat too. It's like these little almost like jerky sticks. These Nutrisource little they're salmon flavored. There's a beef flavored. Maya loves those things. Nutrisource is the official pet and dog food of Purple Daily here. You can find them online at NutrisourcePetFoods.com, or you can find your local Nutrisource retailer as well. Zero Res is here to help clean your carpets and deep clean your home. So they have a 4.9 out of 5-star rating on Google with 17,000 reviews, which is bonkers. Judd's got his Nutrisource treat.
I just bought her silence with a Nutrisource chicken treat.
Congratulations. Now, why don't you have a couple too? And if Judd spills any of those on the carpets,
good idea.
Zero Res can come in and deep clean the house. So call Zero Res and ask for the Score North special, or go to the website, zeroresminnesota.com. Get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at just $119 and a free hallway. And this month, take $75 off your air ducts getting cleaned. 952 Zero Res or zeroresminnesota.com. Ask for the Score North special and spell it forward or backwards. It spells the same. Zero Res.
I want a mock.
Here we go. Boys, we have the number 3 overall pick because we made that trade almost 2 months before the draft here.
Love it.
So with the Bears are on the clock, we're going to go, we'll just start this draft and see what the first 2 picks are. Okay. Caleb Williams, number 1.
Okay.
Drake May, number 2. Now, what's funny is PFF actually has a gap between, they've got Jayden Daniels as like the 11th player on the board here. Could we get, I'm just going to throw this out. Could we get tricky here, or would you probably just take your guy, right?
Yeah, after I made that trade, I would just take my
Okay.
guy. I've decided that Jayden Daniels is my future, so I'm not going to cheat on Jayden Daniels.
All right, we just drafted Jayden Daniels. We have a quarterback of the future, Jayden Daniels. Jacoby Brissett as the bridge guy for a few games.
Draft party just went wild.
Can you imagine?
Purple Daily draft party went crazy.
Oh, we're hoping to have an announcement on that sometime very soon, by the way. So, okay, I just want to see like kind of the rest of the first round here. We can speed this up a little bit, and then we'll go turbo speed to get us to the 4th round. Let's just see what else is happening. Flying through to the 32nd pick.
Yet?
Boom. Okay, yeah, let's see here. So the rest of the draft played out. The rest of the first round here, we got Marvin Harrison Jr. Well, Malik Neighbors, the Cardinals go with as the first receiver off the board. Wow.
What?
And then Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Chargers. Roma Dunze to the Giants. Brock Powers, the tight end from Georgia, to the Titans. Trying to see if there's a 4th quarterback in the first round here. There wasn't. So let's fly through the second round just out of curiosity to see where. There goes Michael Penix. Okay. So
Michael Penix.
You could have gone deep, and you could do this if you're the Vikings. You could go defense early, like stay at 11 or trade up a little bit, and then go get like Michael Penix or Bo Nix went 34 here. Michael Penix 39.
Yeah.
JJ McCarthy 43. So those are your 6 quarterbacks.
I like what we did.
We got Jayden.
No fear.
So we'll go turbo speed here.
Because we're waiting.
I don't know why this is frozen now. That would just be on top of our technical issues.
Yeah, be on par for today.
The rest of the day here.
There,
It's literally freezing on the 77th overall pick.
it's the Raiders. It's the Raiders
What
just
a
because
day.
they screw up the draft.
This is classic.
The simulator has no idea what to do with them.
That's classic. Let's just do this. We're going to refresh this. Because the people deserve to see who we pick in the 4th round. Dang it.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're going to redo this. We'll go turbo. We'll go Vikings. And we will make the same trade that we just made. Patriots. And we'll make the same trade.
We've never had this happen before.
I know. We've literally had like 6 technological breakdowns today. Sorry. And then, of course.
And none are my fault. It's incredible.
Well, you are the chief technical officer of Purple Daily here, Judd.
Yeah.
Well, that's your mistake, not mine.
So, okay, we're offering again the 11, the 42, and then 2 first-round picks for next year. We're going to offer the trade. They're going to accept it. We're going to start the draft. The draft plays out the same way. We get Jayden Daniels, draft him.
And then go turbo?
Bang, turbo.
Okay.
Look at that.
And look at this.
Now we're moving.
Okay.
Now
Sorry
we're
about
moving.
that, folks.
That's okay.
Okay, now we're on the clock with the 108th pick. The biggest needs are running back, interior offensive line, edge, maybe wide receiver. We got some interesting options here. Audric Estime, the halfback from Notre Dame. You want to see who the running backs are here, boys?
Sure.
Okay. Let's see here. This is where we're going to get Forno on tomorrow to talk about some of these options. Thor's going to make his comeback this week. So it looks like the Michigan running back is already off the board, unfortunately.
So go back to the best or the overall list, best players.
Sure.
Who are the best players available at positions that we need?
So positions of need.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
wide receiver a little bit, but you'd be drafting a 3rd wide receiver here.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, cornerback,
111.
halfback. There's a couple different. The edge options are kind of slim here. You do have Zach Zinter, the guard from Michigan, available.
Yeah. How about
It's kind
going
of
back to, so it looks like that in the overall projection at 113, the running back is pretty close to where we are. How about him right there?
Yep. It's our Notre Dame kid, by the way, a 94.2 out of 100 grade. He had 1,300 rushing yards for the Irish last year and 18 touchdowns.
Let's do it.
Pretty good little
Can he catch? Can he block?
5 foot.
Can he pick up
Well,
blitz?
that's the thing. Like, you don't know sometimes. Like, he only caught, he was targeted 17 times, caught all 17, but sometimes they just aren't asked to do that.
Yep.
But we
All
will
right.
draft the Notre
Let's
Dame
take
running
him.
back here.
Let's
All right.
take him.
Okay. We are on the clock now at 129. So we can cross off our, I think we gotta, it's less about need and more about sort of best players and value at this point too.
Yep.
But if there's an edge like this, Justin Eboigbe, I want to say.
All right.
So he last year for Alabama had 7 sacks, 18
Ooh, Bama.
quarterback hurries.
Take the Bama kid. Yes.
He's
Always
6'5", 292 pounds. So we're gonna go
SEC.
edge rusher out of
Roll Tide.
Alabama here.
This kid is a pro waiting to happen. I can feel it.
At the 148, we do need some linebacker depth. JD Bertrand from Notre Dame is one of the best available.
Jordan
We also
Travis.
have Drake Nugent, the center from Michigan, sitting here.
Yep.
Linebackers and a center. Thoughts?
Drake Nugent, who we have, I think we either took him before or considered him in a previous mock.
Yeah.
I like that. My guess is the kid can play guard.
Let's do it.
I'll turn
Drake
him into
Nugent.
a swing.
Okay, 160. Isaiah Williams here. He's a wide receiver sitting here.
value.
We should go linebacker at some point, right? I mean, they literally have like Ivan Pace and nobody else right now.
Yep.
So can I go Michigan linebacker here?
Sure.
Okay. And then at the 168, just looking for best players available. I mean, James Williams, the safety from Miami. You got a couple running backs here in the mix. Justin Rogers. How big is this guy? Judd likes fat interior defensive guys. 346, Judd.
Oh, God, yeah. Run stopper.
Okay.
Run stopper.
Justin Rogers from Auburn.
Okay.
Let's make it happen.
And now if we have a wide receiver available to us.
You want the best? Here we go. Anthony Gould from Oregon
183.
State.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a reach, but not too much.
He's 5'8", 172, so he's one of the smallest players in the draft.
Plays inside in the slot. Speedy, though.
He's got 16 yards a catch from the slot.
He's got speed to burn, explosiveness that can be exploited.
Welcome to the Vikings, Anthony Gould. And then the 230th overall pick here.
Nose for the football.
There we go. Okay. All right. It's pretty much Mr. Irrelevant time here for the Vikings. You want to draft a kicker?
Sure.
You know what? Take the Iowa corner.
Sebastian Castro. That's a cool name.
Yeah. It's a late round pick.
Yeah, he was a cornerback on one of the best defenses in the country. You know?
Yeah, why not?
Guy's probably a stud. Okay. There we go, boys. Hey, we just drafted our 2024 class. Let's see what PFF gives us for a grade here.
This draft was a victory lap the whole time because they finally got the quarterback.
Yeah, we got the Jayden Daniels. So they gave us an A for the trade, an A for Jayden Daniels, and an A overall for the draft. Let's go, boys. Let's go.
All right.
Fire it up. We just fixed
Let's
the
go out
Vikings.
for steaks. Let's go out for steaks and expensive wine and champagne.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Ubers for everybody.
Got a couple Michigan men. We got an Auburn edge rusher in there. My Notre Dame squad running back too. So pretty good. Pretty good. What do you guys think? Let us know in the YouTube comment section. How do you feel about our offseason 3.0
You'll never get
here?
the number 3 pick. No, you'll never, Mackie. What are you smoking?
I love how that's the voice that Judd hears when he reads negative comments on YouTube.
You never get the number 3 pick. You guys are idiots.
Hit us up in the YouTube comment section or on Twitter/X and let us know, what do you think of this? We'll see you guys tomorrow on Purple Daily Vikings Entertainment.